White cast iron, extremely hard and brittle. So because of its extreme hardness, it wears quite well. And if it's broken, you get a white crystalline fracture face, and that gives it its name. Here's a picture of cast iron, or white cast iron. So you can see these white areas here. There's some type of metal carbide there. Then the dark areas are iron carbide and ferrite. Ferrite is a iron oxygen compound. So the next cast iron is malleable cast iron. And relative to gray cast iron and white cast iron, this is a ductile form of cast iron, and it goes through a process of heating and slow cooling using white cast iron to start with, and this process is known as annealing. And when we look at the structure, it produces irregular shaped nodes of graphite in the microstructure, that is, and we call that temper carbon. And here are the properties of malleable cast iron. Well, it's ductile, it's moderate strength, relatively good toughness, easily machined, and you can use that to produce thin-walled castings for various components. Here's a picture of the malleable cast iron. So you can see these gray areas here, or the black areas here. This is graphite, and you can see their irregular shapes, right? And you just have to imagine this coming out of the page so you can imagine it in 3 dimensions. Then ductile cast iron, also known as nodular or spheroidal graphite iron. It contains graphite, but the graphite is spheroidal in shape, so shaped like a sphere, but not exactly round. And properties here, it's as strong as cast iron, but much more ductile. Let's look at the properties. So it's strong, it's tough, it's ductile, it's excellent physical and thermal shock resistant. It's easily machined, right, because of its ductility. Now the damping capacity of that is less than the damping capacity of the ductile cast iron is less than that of gray cast iron. This is because of the difference in the shape of the graphite. Now here's a look at ductile cast iron. Geez, my head's all over. It's always in the way. So yeah, here we go. So now you can just imagine, you can see these are more or less round, right? So you can just imagine these in 3 dimensions, right? Is more or less spherical. Then a little bit on wrought iron. It's ductile and corrosion resistant. And as we talked about earlier, it's also somewhat elastic. It'll go back to its original shape once the force is removed.